and coming a little bit late, so they'll sneak in. And so everybody knows I'm Liz Mara in the DA's office, and thanks for being here today. Thanks to TriMet for hosting us. Just a couple logistics. We need to finish by 10 today. We've got other meetings we got to get to. We're here to talk about safety and TriMet, and so we will have time for Q&A. I'd like us to stick to that topic. If you have specific questions for the DA kind of outside this topic, flag me when we wrap, and we'll see what we can do. And I think with that, we'll get started. We have several speakers, and then we'll have time for Q&A, and we'll wrap at 10. All right, we'll start with the DA.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Schmidt. I'm the Multnomah County District Attorney. It's great to be here with you this morning and here at TriMet. We're very excited today to talk about our partnership that has actually been going on for a long time, since 1998. The District Attorney and the District Attorney's Office and TriMet have partnered to work on prosecution of TriMet offenses. But today we're talking about an enhancement of that already existing relationship. We know that public transportation is really the beating heart of our community. When I talk to people in our community, I hear about how much they rely on our public transportation systems to be able to get their kids to school, to be able to get to work. We know that it's important for us to do everything we can to make sure that our public transportation is safe so that people can rely on it to get to where they need to go. We have and had since November 2022 a Deputy District Attorney, Julian Samuels, who you'll get to hear from today in this position. But like I said, our office has had a prosecutor that works on TriMet cases since 1998. But today what we're talking about is the enhancement of that relationship and the intergovernmental agreement that we've signed with TriMet enhancing our prosecutorial resources. So you also get to hear from our brand new Deputy District Attorney, Megan Iranaga. So we're excited about that and to talk to you about what that means for our abilities. We're also handling or increasing investigator resources on public transportation so that we can work seamlessly with the sheriff and her team, and she's going to talk to you about what they have going on with TriMet. So, you know, for us, this is a priority for our office, and we're excited to see this relationship grow. We know that this means that we'll be able to hold more people accountable and make our public transportation system even more secure. So with that, I'll hand it over to Andrew Wilson from TriMet.
Well, thanks, Mike. Good morning, everyone. Andrew Wilson, Chief Safety Officer here at TriMet. Thanks for coming down to our Public Safety Office this morning. Want to just point out that, as Mike shared earlier, and just want to thank him and the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office for their partnership. We've enjoyed, as Mike mentioned, since 1998, a good partnership related to having one district attorney here working alongside the Transit Police Department as well as our security staff to create safe outcomes for our riders. We are now enhancing that, as Mike mentioned that. In August, TriMet is funding an additional DA and as part of that enhanced contract to handle cases. You'll hear from Julian, who's been with us for over a year doing great work for TriMet, and Megan, who is now that new DA on the contract, a little later in the presentation. I bring this up, and Mike mentioned too, two DA investigators as well to help bolster and compile investigations out on the system, which is another enhancement that we're offering to create better outcomes for our riders and our employees. They'll be working alongside us here at the Public Safety Office, which allows us the ability to really sync in with one another. One of the real benefits of having a assigned district attorney is that they can really focus on TriMet code and really understand TriMet code, which is basically rules for riders, and that can help them in just ensuring a safe and reliable service out there on the system. So again, we're excited about this partnership. We're excited about enhancing the capabilities to create safe and reliable service, or more safe and reliable service for our riders and employees, and appreciate the partnership with the DA's office in that endeavor. I'm going to hand it off to another excellent partner with us, is the Multnomah County Sheriff, Morrissey O'Donnell.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, District Attorney Mike Schmidt and Andrew Wilson. As the Sheriff of Multnomah County, I value TriMet's support of each of our respective offices, as you will hear and have heard today, these new resources will provide a number of benefits. For the officers and deputies assigned to TriMet and Transit Police Division, these resources will help streamline investigations while also freeing up our transit police officers to be more visible on our transit system and around our transit locations, interrupting criminal activity as well as preventing additional crime. More specifically, the DA investigators will bridge the gap between our police officers and Deputy District Attorney by working directly with the officers, reviewing referrals, and providing the necessary follow-up to strengthen these cases. Some of the follow-up that they will be doing will include reviewing video and reports and assisting officers in identifying and locating individuals who have been engaged in criminal activity. All of this work is very time-consuming, and this collaboration empowers our deputies and officers to become more proficient in building cases while also ensuring that when police reports result in a criminal charge, that they can be pursued by the District Attorney's Office. As the District Attorney's Office is introducing new resources through this amended agreement with TriMet, I am also announcing that I am increasing deputy sheriffs and supervisors to the Transit Police Division. Because staffing at the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Law Enforcement Division is improving, this week I have added a sergeant who is assigned full-time to the Transit Police Division, and I also plan on adding 2 additional deputy sheriffs within the next couple of months. While I also recognize that Transit Police Division is understaffed, it is our hope that Transit Police will continue to grow as our partner agencies continue to fill their ongoing vacancies. So I greatly appreciate the collaboration with our public safety partners as well as our continued support of TriMet. We are working together and collaborating to strengthen community safety across our region. So thank you very much for allowing us to share this information today, and I will now turn it over to Deputy District Attorney Julian Samuels.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning, everyone. My name is Julian Samuels. I am one of the 2 Deputy District Attorneys assigned to TriMet cases in the District Attorney's Office. As you've heard, I have been assigned to the position since last November. And while at the District Attorney's Office for 3.5 years, I have been in our misdemeanor unit, property and drugs unit, our intake division, as well I has led 2 different treatment courts also. Currently, being assigned to TriMet means a lot to me based on the fact that I ride the MAX and the buses daily. I understand how important those systems are to our community, so I take great pride in being the Deputy District Attorney assigned to the felony TriMet cases. And I'm going to hand it off to our new Deputy District Attorney, Megan Irinaga.
Thank you so much, Julian. As he stated, and as you've heard, my name is Megan Irinaga. I am the new additional TriMet DDA. I've been with Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. I'm in my 3rd year now. I have been in our intake unit, our misdemeanor unit. I worked at the Gresham East County Courthouse, as well as working in our property and drug unit most recently before transferring into this role. I'm a 3rd-generation Oregonian, born and raised. I went to Sunset High School and didn't get a car until I was 26, so TriMet was my sole form of transportation until recently, that along with my bike, until I was 26 when I got a car. Community safety is very important to me as a prosecutor, and TriMet has unique legal needs, and I'm excited to be part of the team and help improve community safety through holding people accountable for their actions. Thank you.
All right, great. So that's all we have prepared, so we'll open it up for questions.
I have a quick question. Have you guys talked with Clackamas County and Washington County about similar partnerships?
Yeah, I can take that. Thanks, Connor.
DA and the Sheriff's Office partnerships with the increase in
Yeah.
enhancement.
Yeah. Yeah, so just for some context, we have an intergovernmental agreement with the Multnomah County Sheriff's Department to be in the lead position for transit police. They do a fantastic job in that lead position. We do have other agencies that contribute officers. We've struggled to get those numbers back up post-COVID in particular, but we've had in the past Clackamas County Sheriff's deputies assigned. We've had Washington County deputies assigned, as well as other agencies like Gresham and Milwaukee and other cities in the area. So we're building those numbers back up. I was really excited to hear from the sheriff this morning that we're going to be getting a couple additional officers from the MCSO, which will help our numbers out on the system. And again, as Sheriff Marcy O'Donnell mentioned, these 2 DA investigators will allow the existing law enforcement that we have out there with transit to actually be more present in preventing crime and being out on the system, while the DA investigators are actually working on the investigation after the fact, if that makes sense. In terms of the DA partnerships, the level of case volume really has not necessitated the same kind of relationships in terms of DA for Clackamas and Washington. We have partnerships there, we have relationships there, but we don't engage in the same kind of embedding an attorney in our division, if that makes sense.
How do you plan to ensure that you're not overly prosecuting people who may be struggling from mental illness or are already financially disadvantaged? Is there a plan to provide more outreach, social services, such as increased presence of the safety response team?
Yeah, great question. You can see the team that we have here. We have an excellent team. I'm really proud of Julian and Megan and how they've contributed. In terms of some of the issues that we're facing out there, we have developed the safety response team, which you alluded to. We now have 60 members. We've developed that team over the last couple months. TriMet has a health-centered approach to substance abuse disorders. That's one of the reasons why we have this team out there, to really focus on some of the folks out there in the system that are our most vulnerable, folks that are dealing with those kinds of issues, substance abuse, mental health disorders. That is a lot of what our riders see out there that makes them feel unsafe, which is unfortunate because some of these folks are in some of the most difficult positions themselves. And so as we've enhanced these tools to make sure we're holding people accountable, we're also enhancing our capabilities with the safety response team to actually do behavioral health outreach, make outreach referrals. Thousands of referrals are made by that team every year now, and I've talked about that before, but we're really trying to serve all of our riders that are out there on the system.
Do you think 60 people is enough for the safety response team, or does it need to be more?
We evaluate that constantly. I'm interested in moving that number up, and I think we will over this next year, but that's constantly under evaluation in terms of our staffing. I will say we have now over 315 security staff out there as a response to our riders who want to see more presence out there on the system. And presence and capabilities and doing that in an equitable way is really the focus of where we're at right now, and creating safe and reliable service, which this community depends on.
Other questions?
Is this a system that is used in other cities, counties you're aware of, or is this unique to?
Yeah. Good question. I mean, Portland has a unique response to how we're dealing with some of the safety security outcomes that we're seeing out there. I'll say this, that other communities have things that are like the safety response team out there, and I say nationally, these are other major cities, to really provide an additional presence out there on the transit systems that they operate in. I really think the safety response team is best in class. We have a really good, dedicated team which are out there on the system doing very good work every single day. Riders out there, if you're out there, you will see these teams out there. We get comments about increased presence, and certainly we're getting there. To the question earlier, we are going to continue that. You're going to see more presence on the system, and you're going to see more presence from folks like this, what we call in the SRT, the Safety Response Team. And so to answer your question, yes, others do, but we're kind of at the forefront of that, and actually are asked to share about our program quite often all around the country. Yeah, you'll see similar teams in LA and Boston and Denver, Philadelphia, SEPTA, the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transit Association. They have a very similar system, and we communicate with those folks all the time. We're a part of working groups where we share information in terms of how we can approach transit in a safer way. And so, yeah, there are other teams, but again, I'm biased to Portland and TriMet. I grew up here. We've got a great team. So.
And a question for the DA or one of the deputy DAs. Over the last year, at least I guess for Julian, what cases have you been looking into? What's kind of the trend of crime that's happening that you're looking into on TriMet?
So normally the cases I see as the felony DA range from felony criminal mischief cases to person crimes where a civilian is the victim in the matter. I've seen cases from a far range, including where someone is physically injured on TriMet, as well as cases where TriMet property is being damaged. So to answer your question, it's been all sorts of felonies, but normally property crimes or cases where there's victims involved.
And how many of those cases have gone to trial?
In the last year, I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's over 10 cases.
And having that extra help might be an obvious question, but how does that help you?
How does it help with the
Having
cases?
another deputy district attorney.
Oh, it's a huge help, especially because there are a lot of misdemeanor cases that come in from transit police. Additionally, allows me to have someone else to speak with who knows the TriMet code and is a legal expert as well. So it's very beneficial.
Yeah. What does your caseload look like over the past year leading up to the addition of this second deputy DA?
For felony cases, it ranges between about 100 and 130 cases, and those can go back from 2019 or 2020 to present day. The misdemeanor cases are a little bit heavier.
On that topic, the Oregonian reported last year that agency staff said they had to wait for prosecutors to charge people and that who would spit on drivers. And it didn't always result in serious penalties. Is that going to change now that there's a second DA? Are you going to be cracking down on transit-related crimes that may have been previously overlooked?
Well, when cases come in, they come in on a case-by-case basis. We are never targeting certain defendants. We always look at the case in its entirety. We speak to the victims. We speak to the responding officers. We have internal discussions in the DA's office, and then we make a decision if the case is going to go to trial or have a pretrial offer. We take all of our cases very seriously and do as thorough of a job as possible.
What about cases where it's maybe a misdemeanor, like someone spitting on a TriMet operator, and those cases have to maybe languish, or the bus driver feels that there wasn't a very strict punishment or appropriate punishment?
When it comes to our misdemeanor cases, a lot of those cases do end in probation offers or treatment offers. Additionally, now that we have the DA investigator, there should be even more follow-up being done to speak with witnesses who will help us prosecute those cases.
Maybe this was addressed already, but I know Julian or anyone else, but are there counterparts in other district attorneys' offices that you work with that have similar roles, or is this unique to the Multnomah County District Attorney's office?
Currently, having a deputy district attorney is unique to Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. We've had a great partnership, as DA Schmidt said, with Transit for a long time, and having the additional DA is really showing the support and trust Transit has in our office, as well as community safety.
Can I follow up to that, too? So just for context, too, with the misdemeanor DA position, currently a lot of those cases are assigned out into the community, to different DAs. Having specialization, somebody here that can interact with the rest of our team, really helps us hold people accountable for those types of behaviors. We think about spitting on operators and that sort of thing. That is really impactful to TriMet when we have our fabulous operators kind of treated and mistreated in that way, and so we really want to make sure that we're engaging. Now, having said that, we have lots of different tools here now. I think you've heard us talk about our over 8,000 cameras now that we have on the system. We've had enhanced safety panels and barriers for operators. We have safety monitors out there. You'll see where you're on kind of candid camera when you're driving along the road. You can see yourself and the interior of the video. If you ride right now, you'll see those on the bus. So these are kind of capabilities that we're improving at the same time. But really what this is about is trying to create a more safe and reliable service for all of us to use, and which is so many of us are actually dependent upon too. So appreciate these partnerships, and this misdemeanor DA position, which is relatively new to us, is already gaining some traction in terms of being able to back up Julian, but also focus on some of those cases to hold people accountable.
Any other questions?
Are there any capacity concerns about, with the public defense system having some shortages? Are there issues about being able to actually prosecute these cases? Concerns that there are more resources, but the system may not be able to handle more cases?
Yeah, it's a great question. We continue to, on a weekly basis, see cases dismissed in our court system for lack of public defenders. Typically, the cases that are being hit hardest by those are those kind of mid-range or property felony cases, also some misdemeanors. So it is possible that some of the cases that we're prosecuting from these efforts will run into a lack of public defense attorneys, and we need to see more attorneys coming online so that we can see those cases be brought. But our commitment from our side is that we are prosecuting those cases, and even when they end up being dismissed, if there is not a public defender available, we bring them back and we will charge them again. It's just an unfortunate use of resources on our end to have to do the same work over again, but we're committed to doing that and seeing it through.
Last call.
If nobody has any more questions, I would like to clarify, just for y'all, just for background, the structure of transit police. TriMet contracts with local law enforcement agencies such as Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, and we pay for them to assign officers to the transit police unit. So when they are facing a shortage, they don't have the people, the officers to assign to the transit unit. Over my 12 years here, I have been told by many a police officer, many a sheriff's deputy, that these are coveted positions at transit police. They are seen as kind of community policing positions. And so a lot of the officers have wanted to come here, and it's been competitive for officers to be able to serve on the unit. But just so you understand, it's not that TriMet has a separate police force. Andrew has talked to many transit agencies across the country. Some do have their own police force. We have this different task force style of transit police. And so we contract with all the different agencies, and we pay the fully burdened rate of the officer so that they can be assigned to transit. That also helps the home agency, because when they need to call on their officers, those officers can help the home agencies as well. Kind of makes sense?